Oh, I forget how to do this because everything's...
Hello. Please mute your phones and turn your attention to the public safety announcement. In the event of an emergency at NJ Transit, your safety is our top priority. Please follow these important instructions. In case of an emergency, announcements will be made over the loudspeaker or by a uniformed police officer. The emergency exit to McCarter Highway is the red stairwell located near the first security desk after you exit the boardroom. If necessary, CPR will be administered using the defibrillator. Please do not approach the dais. Documents can be presented to staff at the entrance to the boardroom. Please follow the directions of NJ Transit Police and staff. Thank you, and have a safe day.
Good evening. I hereby call to order the Board of Directors meetings of the New Jersey Transit Corporation, New Jersey Rail Operations, Inc., New Jersey Transit Bus Operations, Inc., New Jersey Transit Mercer, Inc., and New Jersey Transit Morris, Inc. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will now take roll call. Board Member Brontes?
Here.
Board Member Brown?
Here.
Board Member Nara?
Here.
Board Member Weiss?
Here.
Board Member Caniff?
Here.
Board Member Cruz?
Here.
Vice Chair Carson?
Here.
Chair O'Connor.
Here.
For the record, board members of Brontes, Brown, Caniff, and Nara are participating remotely. Board members Morocco and Thomas are absent. This is a meeting of the New Jersey Transit Corporation and its affiliates and subsidiaries. Adequate notice has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and NJ Transit's enabling legislation. Notice was filed on May 8, 2025, with the Secretary of State and sent to newspapers of general distribution, posted in the main entrance of NJ Transit's headquarters, published on the corporation's website, and sent to each individual, agency, and organization that requested such notice.
May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the April 9, 2025 board meetings?
Moved. Weiss.
May I have a second?
Second. Cruz.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
That
Motion-
aye was for.
motion carried.
For it. Okay.
Yes.
Suzanne Mack will present the advisory committee report now.
I keep thinking I have to press a button, but you don't have the button, so you're high tech. Good evening. It is very nice to be here. I had the option of coming virtually also tonight, but I thought it was very important for the advisory boards, both North and South, to be represented. It is a very important evening for the corporation. You have been in this situation before. I know the mission. The mission is to provide a safe, reliable transportation system for the people of New Jersey, and I also know the value that your employees have had. This corporation has always valued the employees of it and has gone out of their way to make sure that it was one cohesive system. So I know you have challenges, and I know that you will be facing those challenges with good speed. And but I thought it was important that the advisory board said, Thanks, everyone. Thank the employees for the services that they give to our people of New Jersey, and give the board a shout out also, and thank you. We appreciate what you do for the people of New Jersey, and we're hoping that there'll be a good resolution this evening. It was almost kind of difficult to say, oh, business as usual, I should come up here and give a report, but I will give a report. We did have a very good meeting in South Jersey. We were in Atlantic City at the Transaction Conference. We had our annual meeting, and we were very pleased to be able to be at Transaction and have a really intensive morning meeting with Chris Calori, our CEO, where he told us the priorities of the corporation, gave us a good readout on where we are and where we're going. And some of that where we're going will be decided in the next few days. But we also had a very good presentation by of the operating budget from Jackie Stamford. You do a remarkable job trying to keep this budget together with the challenges that we have, not only locally, but federally. We know we're in a very tense environment, fiscal environment, and really when it comes down to it, it's about money. We need money. We need a dedicated, gotten some support definitely over the Murphy administration to give us a dedicated source of revenue, but it all comes down to the fact that we have to operate a system, and it has fiscal responsibilities. We also had a presentation on marketing, which is, we feel is very important because you have to go out and you have to market the system and get more riders. So that seems like that is going, that's a priority for the agency, and you're doing very well. We also had a nice presentation from our new customer advocate, Frank Bobman, on what the passenger experience is. Again, I say it's difficult to think about the normal day-to-day operations when you are doing so much to try to make the experience better, but yet we have to solve our system problems in the next few days. The other thing I wanted to tell you, and the committee's really thank you for it, we also had a presentation. A long-term member of our committee, Jeff Marinoff, just passed. He was a tireless advocate for rail and for bus in South Jersey, and you dedicated a bench for him at the Atlantic City rail station. I know that sounds maybe almost like trite, but what an honor. He would be so pleased that his service to the state of New Jersey as a passenger advocate was recognized. And that's the kind of thing that New Jersey Transit does that I think other agencies don't do. And again, I think of the advisory boards and the employees as one family, New Jersey Transit, and so I hope that carries over in the coming days. The other thing is I know that there was a contingency plan set up for in case there is a strike. We were hoping that it would not come to this, and we still hope that we can all support each other to continue the mission, which is to provide a safe, reliable system. We all know what chaos there will be. You never appreciate something until it's not there, and that's something you all know. Everyone in this room is aware of what is at stake, and I just wanted to let you know that we appreciate the fact that that you're negotiating in good faith. I found the agenda a little ironic because this evening your voting items in the multi-millions is about rail cars. So you have purchase of new rail cars, purchase of dual locomotive engines, and so the agency is poised to support the rail system by capital improvements, which are hard to get, and so we on the advisory board and the public are pleased that you are taking the need for capital improvements and getting new cars to operate the system, and we hope that the employees will also be there to do that. I did notice also, because I'm the one who says you need more money, I did notice that you're selling assets to New Jersey EDA at a cost of, or a net cost back to the agency for $65 million. And it again, that's the kind of thing that this board, you've been very aggressive about trying to maximize every revenue stream so that you do have enough money to operate the system. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. Are there any comments from the public?
There are 4 in-person speakers and 3 pre-registered telephone speakers. Speakers, in order to give everyone an opportunity to be heard, comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Priority access will be given to pre-registered in-person speakers, followed by any additional in-person speakers. We will then take comments from pre-registered telephone speakers, followed by any additional telephone participants who are queued to speak. Those participating by telephone, if you have not already done so, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad to enter the queue to speak. You will hear a brief tone to indicate you have successfully entered the queue. The first speaker is Gloria Mills, followed by Thomas Haas Jr.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Gloria Robinson Mills, and I serve as a chairperson of the Senior Citizens and Disabled Residents Transportation Advisory Committee. The following is an update on the activities and accomplishments of ScatterTAC since our last report to the board last month in April 2025. The committee met on April 24th, 25, and these are our activities since that time. On May 1, the annual FTA Section 5310 State Review Committee convened in person to evaluate submitted applications. Applicants this year sought funding for vehicles, mobility management projects, and operating expenses. ScatterTAC members, along with local programs and community mobility staff and outside local reviewers, to evaluate applications for fair and equitable distribution of funds based upon applicant needs. Members of the ScatterTAC committee provided critical support in the review process and reinforced our commitment to address the needs of our senior citizens and individuals with disabilities in New Jersey. For membership, we have had a somewhat long-standing vacancy in the Central region, but due to the recent resignation of a ScatterTAC member from the South region, we currently have 2 vacancies that we will continue our recruitment efforts to ensure full regional representation. In addition, we continue to work to form ad hoc committees to address key priority areas of concern, including to evaluate the benefits of returning to provider site visits and updating the bylaws to reflect current goals and operational needs. In closing, it comes back to one central purpose: our shared commitment and responsibility to serve and advocate for those who need us the most, our senior citizens and individuals with disabilities. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Thomas Haas Jr., followed by David Peter Allen.
Good evening. My name is Tom Haas, and I am the General Chairman of the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers and Trainmen. I represent the locomotive engineers, assistant engineers, and locomotive engineer trainees of New Jersey Transit. As I'm sure you're aware, we've been in negotiations with New Jersey Transit to reach a new agreement since October of 2019. During this time, there have been countless meetings, mediation by the National Mediation Board, 2 presidential emergency boards, and a tentative agreement that was overwhelmingly rejected by 87% of the members. We, the locomotive engineers of New Jersey Transit, are asking only for a fair and competitive wage, a wage that is closer to what locomotive engineers at every other railroad in our area already earn. Locomotive engineers at New Jersey Transit are currently paid almost 20% less than their counterparts at Amtrak, PATH, Long Island Railroad, and Metro North. This is despite New Jersey Transit engineers working on the same tracks, moving the same trains as those engineers. The only difference is that some, but not all, New Jersey Transit engineers start their day across the Hudson River from those engineers. Now, we have offered New Jersey Transit valuable cost-saving concessions in areas like healthcare and work rules, yet a contract with a comparable wage remains out of our reach. We are now almost out of time to solve this problem before a work stoppage can take place. The locomotive engineers of New Jersey Transit take enormous pride in their jobs and in moving passengers safely and efficiently to their destinations. The last thing they want to see is that to be interrupted, but they're at the end of their rope. Our ask is not a huge one. We simply want to be paid on a similar level to what almost every other passenger railroad locomotive engineer in the United States already is. We want the difference in pay that we see to be like the difference in pay that every other New Jersey Transit employee currently sees, not 15% more. We want equal pay for equal work, because at the end of the day, trains don't move without engineers. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is David Peter Allen, followed by Vito Havrilla.
Good evening. David Peter Allen making a personal statement. 3 months ago, I asked Chris Calori, a fellow attorney at law of this state, in his capacity as head of New Jersey Transit, to rescind a directive issued last year by his predecessor concerning the Senior Citizens and Disabled Residents Transportation Advisory Committee, SCATTERTAC, which threatened summary expulsion in violation of the First and 14th Amendments to the United States Constitution and New Jersey's Constitution and laws. To date, he has not done so. On March 3rd, to prove that our committee is entitled to our historic purview, I submitted to him and other senior managers a statement with the 24 exhibits that I used in the winter of 2023. At that time, they recognized that the legislature had indeed intended our broad purview, regarding transportation for seniors and persons with disabilities. In December 2022, the agency proposed language that would have cut out such topics as access link, fixed route transit, connectivity, funding, and accessibility under the Americans with Disabilities Act. We objected strongly, and since I was chair then, it was up to me to defend our purview against 2 staff attorneys, both of whom had experience as prosecutors, for 90 minutes before senior management was willing to talk with us. The U.S. Supreme Court, where I am admitted to practice, does not put lawyers through that. I mention this to show that New Jersey Transit is very serious about every provision of the regulations under Title 16, Part 78 of the New Jersey Administrative Code, as approved by this board in November 2023. without the restrictive language that would have all but eliminated Scattertack's efforts to help its vulnerable constituents. The committee's strongest adversary is Michael Vieira, president of the Council on Special Transportation, COST, the trade association for the county providers. He specifically requested that I be removed from the office to which I have been duly elected. Then the former CEO of this agency issued the expulsion threat, to which I continue to object. Mr. Vieira and his colleagues claim 3 votes as full Scattertack members, even though they are not eligible to serve as such under NJAC Section 16:78-4.1b, which says that members must be seniors, persons with disabilities, parents or guardians, or members of certain state agencies concerned with seniors or persons with disabilities. COST does not fit any of those categories. It is a private sector, Section 501c6 trade association. New Jersey Transit has demonstrated that it takes regulation seriously, so to be consistent, you must also acknowledge that COST members are not eligible to be full voting members of Scattertack. Our 17 duly appointed members are seniors or persons with disabilities, and we are obligated to fulfill our statutory mandate, which New Jersey Transit acknowledged in 2023. Attorney Kaluri, I must ask again, when are you going to rescind your predecessor's expulsion threat from April 19th, 2024, and make it clear that Scattertack members have constitutional and legal rights like everybody else?
Thank you. The next speaker is Vito Havrilla, followed by Chris Neidenberg.
Hello, I'm Vito Havrilla. I'm the Vice Chair and Legislative Director of the Lackawanna Coalition, lackawannacoalition.org. Our next meeting's Monday, May 19th. I'll be giving our statement. Oh, and we also put out the railgram. See me for a copy. We were all worried about a strike beginning on Friday, and we created a railgram extra based on our webpage, stuck on NJT, to help passengers find alternatives. While management and union talk, we, the riders, are the ones most hurt by a strike, especially an extended strike, so we encourage you to do all you can to resolve the issues and get back to work. Amtrak is about to shut down one of the East River tunnels. What will you do if you cannot run trains to Sunnyside Yard? Next, we'll comment on 2 issues: closing Kingsland Station and lack of real progress on Lackawanna cutoff to Andover. We've informed the public and elected officials about the planned and upcoming closure of Kingsland Station. It's scheduled for Sunday, June 8th. We have told the board that this is a bad decision. Once again, you're hurting riders, not increasing accessibility, but taking away a station. It's not for well, but so long. So long as there's life, there's hope. Meanwhile, I'll encourage you to reroute the 76 down Newark Ave, across Delaware Field, up Valley Brook. Did anyone bother to tell the managers of the new apartment building opposite Kingsland Station that the residents will have to walk have a half-mile walk to the train? The Lackawanna Coalition has long supported restoration of rail service to Scranton. This right-of-way is now an FRA-designated corridor. Is now eligible for federal grants, yet NJT still drags its feet on even finishing a minimum operating segment to Andover. We've asked the public to contact Representatives Cheryl Gottheimer and Kane to push for restoring the Lackawanna cutoff. We appreciate everyone's effort. However, now we need the public to step up and take action on these 2 issues, and for you to listen. Action items: 17, 18, 19, 21. All have the same issue, not enough information. We are tired of joking about the lack of transparency at New Jersey Transit, matching the opacity of its windows, especially as we finally have some promised progress on the windows. We're tired of being treated like mushrooms, kept in the dark, felt excrement. We need real information, not presentations don't say anything meaningful. Which rolling stock are these multi-level power cars replacing? When are they being delivered? And what will the fleet be after purchase complete? Purchase agreement totaling $1.8 billion represents the equivalent of New Jersey's transit capital budget for 3 years. Asking for approval of these items without providing any details is a height of arrogance. Why are we all here? Why don't you just have a phone? Why just not have the board phone in their rubber stamp vote? With tariffs, inflation, and fluctuation in exchange rates, what is the plan in place if the price of these dual-mode locomotives skyrockets? Is it possible to receive any details on any of these contracts? In addition, the history of the Economic Development Authority is not the cleanest. At the beginning of his term, Governor Murphy claimed that they had approved $500 million in improper tax breaks. We're especially worried that there are no specifics as to what properties are to be sold and for what projects. Is this a giveaway to developers? Are these truly transit-oriented developments, or are they luxury apartments with generous parking just happen to be near a station? Is it possible to receive any details on this transfer of property? Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Chris Neidenberg, followed by the telephone speakers.
I'll be brief. My name is Chris Neidenberg. I'm a member of the Lackawanna Coalition. I'm speaking about a solution to the problem posed by the closing of Kingsland Rail Station in Lyndhurst to rail riders who take the 76 bus between Hackensack and Newark to get to the train. For buses heading toward Newark, you could divert some 76 buses traveling on Ridge Road by having them turn right on Amvets Avenue, then proceed down Amvets to Delafield Avenue, have them then turn left at Delafield with a new bus stop near the Lyndhurst Rail Station. They would then continue on Delafield, turn left on Valleybrook Avenue, and return to Ridge Road via Valleybrook, then turn right on Ridge to resume their regular route. For buses going towards Hackensack, a few buses could turn left at Valleybrook, proceed on Valleybrook to Delafield, turn right on Delafield with another new bus stop near the Lyndhurst Rail Station, then proceed on Delafield with another, then proceed on Delafield, turn right on Amvets to return to Ridge Road, then turn left on Ridge to resume their normal route. Diverting a few 76 buses to connect with the train going to and from Secaucus in New York City will improve connectivity for rail riders who use the bus to get to the train who have been using the bus to get to the train at Kingsland Station. Thank you.
Thank you. Operator, please open the floor to public comments by telephone participants.
Thank you. As a reminder, if you have not already done so, please press *1 on your telephone keypad to enter the queue to speak. You will hear a brief tone to indicate you have successfully entered the queue. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes for their public comment. A warning will be provided with 1 minute remaining, and again with 15 seconds remaining. And there are 7 public comments in the queue. First public comment is coming from Matty Bucas Highlands. Matty, your line is live and your time will now begin.
Before I begin, can you hear me okay, operator?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, and good evening, everybody. My name is Matty Bucas Highland. I'm a Long Island resident and an advocate for people with developmental disabilities and a trainee at the Winter Center for Autism in West Babylon, New York. Tonight, while we have an impending looming strike in our hands, and I fear that it could be really crippled, especially because there will be a Shakira concert at MetLife Stadium on Friday and Saturday with the Meadowlands line suspended. And I thank the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey for their part in making sure that the lanes do not close that night. It will be a very busy and productive night. And second of all, I'm anxious to hear what Chris Calori will have to say during his CEO's report. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not want another summer of hell like happened in 2017 under the final year of New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, DOT Transportation Commissioner and Chairman Richard Taylor, and Executive Director Stephen H. Santor. Please put those names onto the record. But this next thing I do want to talk about is funding for transportation. Transportation is a priority, and I would like to thank Chairman O'Connor for his part in maintaining New Jersey's roads, as I will be attending New Jersey tomorrow for a lunch. I recently took a road trip down to Florida at the Interstate 95 corridor, and I got to tell you, it was a beautiful thing going down to Vero Beach and then to South Florida in Tampa, the college, to watch the graduation ceremony, to watch someone get the King O'Neill Scholarship Award. And I applaud Chairman O'Connor as the Commissioner of the Department for keeping the roads safe. But funding could be at risk if Trump and Musk get their way. I'm a registered Republican, and this could concern me as I'm an autistic individual. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. With that, ladies and gentlemen, please have a great night, have a great Memorial Day, and God bless you. Thank you very much. Bye, everybody. Operator?
Thank you. The next public comment is coming from Adam Reich. Adam, your line is live and your time will now begin.
Good evening. I want to call attention to three specific board members. Chair O'Connor, in your capacity as head of a state agency and a member of the cabinet. Board member Nara as a Middlesex County commissioner. And board member Carson, Vice Chair Carson, as the regular rail rider on the board. At least technically that's the seat you're occupying. New Jersey Transit makes no provision for reverse peak commuters in the event of a rail strike. There's no cross-honoring with private carriers. There's no promise of any prorated refund, nothing in the way of relief for us. The only thought is going towards New York riders. Chair O'Connor, anybody who lives up north here in Middlesex County or Northern Point and uses the Northeast Corridor may have a problem getting to their workplace in Trenton because the bus networks from New Brunswick and Points North do not connect with the Trenton area bus network that would be like Princeton and Points South. Board member Nara, again, Middlesex County residents. So for those of us in places like Woodbridge, Metuchen, Edison, you would take the Route 810 bus. You would have to connect to Coach USA in downtown New Brunswick, their line 100, and then that would get you to Palmer Square in Princeton. From there, you would take Route 606. These connections are not timed out pretty well. On top of that, Route 810 and Line 100 only operate hourly. You have all of 3 minutes to connect in New Brunswick between the 810 and Coach USA Line 100. So if you blow that connection, you're waiting an hour for the next bus. Chair O'Connor, if somebody takes the first 810 bus, misses that, and then has to connect to the 810 and then, as I mentioned, the 606 to get all the way down to Trenton, they're not going to be in the office until after 9 a.m. If you're not going to offer a contingency, if you're not going to at least offer cross-honoring, there needs to be a concrete promise that since New Jersey Transit does not have a bus or light rail connection between New Brunswick and Princeton, that there will be prorated refunds. The fact is, I now have parking I wouldn't be able to use. I would have to either pay Coach USA or I'd have to pay to park at work. Chair O'Connor talking to the governor, too, about expanding parking privileges for state employees who are rail riders would help a great deal. Finally, I want to stress, Board Member Carson, if you represent the regular rail riders, it is imperative that we hear from you tonight and that we hear from you more often, frankly, because I agree, the closure of Kingsland is hugely problematic, and I'm sorely disappointed you didn't chime in when that vote occurred. Again, I want to stress, rail riders need something more, particularly those of us who are reverse peak riders who don't have a New Jersey Transit alternative to get us the full distance between our points. Think beyond simply New York riders. Remember, we're not just New Jersey residents, we're New Jersey workers too. Many of us serve the public. Thank you.
Thank you. The next public comment is coming from Joe Fiordaliso. Joe, your line is live and your time will now begin.
Thank you. Board Chair O'Connor, members of the board, I'm Joe Fiordaliso, president of the American Council of Engineering Companies New Jersey, which is the business trade association for the consulting engineering industry. I want to commend New Jersey Transit and BLET for continuing to negotiate, for traveling to Washington this week to meet with mediators. I'm hopeful that this is a sign that BLET's leadership is committed to negotiating in good faith and reaching agreement that'll keep New Jersey Transit's operating budget solvent and avert a disastrous strike. It's imperative that agreement is reached that does not cripple New Jersey Transit's operating budget by raiding the corporate transit fee, which has been put in place to provide a dedicated long-term funding stream for transit operations. The corporate transit fee would finally end the harmful practice of transferring capital to operating. This raid of the capital budget has deprived New Jersey Transit of over $650 million over the past 2 years, funding that's vital to rebuilding and maintaining transit's infrastructure. It's also imperative that agreement is reached that avoids a strike. The Northeast Corridor is responsible for 20% of the nation's GDP. A strike along the corridor would have far-reaching economic consequences for our region and for all of us individually, including the 400 members of the BLET who would not be immune from these impacts. I'm appealing directly to BLET leadership, as well as its rank and file members, to reach agreement that includes the well-deserved increase that you're due, but also keeps New Jersey Transit's operating budget solvent and avoids a disastrous strike. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. The next public comment will be from Jason Anthony. Jason, your line is live and your time will now begin.
Good evening, New Jersey Transit Corporation Board meeting. Jason Anthony, the Transit Guru. It is sad that New Jersey Transit Rail Operations Inc. gets to this point, affecting not only those who rely on New Jersey Transit Rail Operations Inc. in the Garden State, but those who rely on it in the Empire State. Here's one question. Why is it that board member Shanti Nara is not in person? And why is it that all board members do not include New York in their contingency plans? Because guess what? The Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, which serves the path between Midtown Manhattan, Lower Manhattan, Hoboken, and North New Jersey, should have been included in all of this. Not only the New York waterway. There's 2 bus terminals in Manhattan. One of them being the Abraham Lincoln Bus Terminal located in Midtown Manhattan, and the other one being the George Washington Bridge Bus Terminal located in the Washington Heights neighborhood in Upper Manhattan. Why is it that this board doesn't even consider going into Penn Station, New York, and the 2 bus terminals
1 minute
that
remaining.
this agency has in New York? Because guess what, folks? Metro North already has their emergency plan in place. Because they're going to provide ferry service and bus service for the Pascagoula Valley line and the Port Jervis line. Sarah Connor and Chris Glory, we want you guys to consult along with Amtrak. Why is it that us in the East of Hudson, we have to pay the broken plates of you guys?
15 seconds remaining.
And we want a meeting with the disability advocates here in the Empire State. Because we don't want to pay less for more. We want to pay less for more service. That's all I have to pay for this month. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next public comment is coming from Andy Weiss. Andy, your line is live and your time will now begin.
Good evening. I am absolutely disgusted with the filthy conditions on NJ Transit buses. Many NJ Transit buses are roach infested and roaches are crawling on riders. I've seen tweets about this, many of them, and they're increasing. Again, many NJ Transit buses are roach infested and roaches are crawling on riders. I have also observed many NJ Transit buses with bald tires, and the bus operators have told me that management doesn't care. I want the head of bus division, Michael Kilcoyne, to be removed from his position because he is doing a terrible job. Michael Kilcoyne has been sticking it to the NJ Transit bus riders for years with his filthy buses and third world conditions. Many buses have broken change machines, and it seems like all the buses have broken conduit tap and go machines. NJ Transit buses are unsanitary and filthy, and Michael Kilcoyne needs to be removed from his position. This public employee is not doing his job properly. Did you know that I worked with former NJ Transit Board member Bob Gordon to reopen the Port Authority exclusive bus lane for the Lincoln Tunnel after the COVID pandemic? Bob Gordon contacted Port Authority Chairman Kevin O'Toole, and he reopened the Lincoln Tunnel exclusive bus lane after the COVID pandemic was over. NJ Transit bus executive Michael Kilcoyne never lifted a finger to reopen the exclusive bus lane after COVID. I did his job. Let me repeat. that NJ Transit bus executive Michael Kilcoyne never lifted a finger to reopen the exclusive bus lane after COVID. Shame on you, Michael Kilcoyne, for your lack of effort to reopen this crucial bus lane for NJ Transit riders. I did Michael Kilcoyne's job again and got the exclusive bus lane open with Bob Gordon. Michael Kilcoyne has been a massive failure at managing the bus division, and he needs to remove from his position. Michael Kilcoyne, again, has been a massive failure at managing the bus division. He needs to be removed from his position.
1 minute remaining.
Michael Kilcoyne, we the people are sick of the way you treat NJ Transit bus riders. Michael Kilcoyne, we the people are sick of the way you treat NJ Transit bus riders. Shame on you, Michael Kilcoyne, for your lack of effort to reopen this crucial bus lane for NJ Transit bus riders. Where is your response about the roaches on NJ Transit buses, Michael? No response ever, right? No apology? Do you ever apologize about anything? You've been a disaster at this position. I'm sick and tired of the way you treat us. You're a public employee and you have no respect for the public. We're paying you a massive salary and you're sending out filthy buses with roaches, infested with roaches.
15 seconds remaining.
I want new management at the bus division. I want replacement. I want accountability for him. Thank you.
Thank you. The next public comment will be from Charlton D'Souza. Charlton, your line is live, and your time will now begin.
Good afternoon. Operator, can everyone hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. So good evening, New Jersey Transit Board members. My name is Charlton D'Souza. I'm the president of Passengers United in New York City. We're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We're all praying that New Jersey Transit and its locomotive engineers reaches an agreement. Nobody wants to see a strike. A strike doesn't help anyone. And we really hope that this can be accomplished fast so there's no strike. I just want to talk about a couple of things in your contingency planning. I've noticed that people with disabilities have been left out of your contingency planning for the strike, as well as Atlantic City rail commuters. You forgot about them. And you also forgot about people who live in parts of North Jersey, and that has to be addressed. And like the other speaker said, Adam said earlier, you know, that there also needs to be accommodations made for riders who do reverse commutes. I agree with that. I also agree with the previous speaker that there are a lot of roaches on New Jersey Transit buses, and these buses need to be fumigated. Y'all need to have an extermination system set up so that it's done automatically. And also, I want to talk about the summer ridership coming. So the 319 bus that goes from New York City to Atlantic City, that bus route last summer saw increased ridership, and the 319 bus, it needs to run all night for the summer season, especially on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The last bus leaves at 12 midnight out of Atlantic City to Port Authority, but sometimes that bus is very crowded, or sometimes that bus is delayed because we have a wheelchair user coming on. And so you need to make adjustments in the schedule for that. And I think you guys need to add like a 1:45 a.m. bus out of Atlantic City. And what I've noticed is you guys have more buses on the 319 leaving Port Authority on a Friday, but you don't have enough buses to bring people back on Sunday and Monday back to Port Authority from Atlantic City. So that needs to be looked into because a lot of times, you know, there's long lines, fights break out, and also the Atlantic City rail line is very unreliable, as well as the river line, the constant breakdowns. We also got complaints from people at Linden World on the Patco that the station has been closed, the entrance has been closed for about a year or two, and it needs to be reopened so people can get into the Patco station. Thank you so much, and we look forward to meeting with you, President. Thank you.
Thank you. And the next public comment will be from Alida Dupree. Alida, your line is live, and your time will now begin.
Thank you. Good afternoon to the chair. Hope you can hear me all right. Alida Dupree, for the record, my pronouns are she and her, and I'm with Team Folds. Good to be back with you. It's been a while. Going to talk about NJ Transit. I'm simply an ordinary user of NJ Transit. Have been using the system since the fall of 1980. On my last time in New York, I mostly used the 320 between Harmon Cove area and Port Authority. I probably used it maybe 15 times, at least. It works. Nice people work in that line. The buses are clean. The express bus lane is working fine, and I'm getting where I need to go. A bit of housekeeping. I wasn't able to do the pre-registration through the website. I think just the way the link has been configured isn't working. So let's have somebody check on that. But I'm here, and I'm interested in these new methods of fare payment. You have a tap to ride, which I may try. Haven't seen anyone use it. And you have a new fare card, which just came out. I'm interested in seeing how both of those work. I think certainly some videos to help inform us on how to use those will definitely help. I do notice that the tap to ride cannot be used at Port Authority. I can understand why, because we want to get people loaded up and out the door quickly. But hopefully there will be a path forward, because for tap to ride users, you could use tap to ride going in, but not going back out. And certainly we'd have to see if we could use the fare pay card with that as well. I do see we're buying these new electric multiple units. I'm interested in them. I've been on bi-level multiple units in Chicago and on Caltrain in the San Francisco area. And yes, I like the old cars, but it's time to do something new. So I look forward to trying these new bi-level electric rail cars out. So anyway, I hope to be back on New Jersey Transit soon. It's a system that I've not only used but enjoyed since 1980. And let's do the best we can, especially with the issues on the Amtrak line. Anyway, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And there were no other public comments at this time.
We have 2 additional in-person speakers. The next speaker is Tanine Howard, followed by Sally Gellert.
Hello, my name is Tanine Howard. I'm a former employee of the New Jersey Department of Transportation. I was employed as a planner at the Department of Transportation, and I was employed while you were there, Mr. Calori, while you held that seat. I was surprised that they hired you back because I gave a testimony maybe a year earlier, and I submitted some documentation that outlined discrimination by black males coming from the FHWA. I'm sure you're familiar with it because it was addressed to your name. I submitted it as, I guess, testimony with the NJDOT. I want to acknowledge some former black males that were in NJDOT that probably should be called back in, and maybe you probably should want to talk to them and talk to them about their experience at NJDOT and how it can be improved. Those former employees are Leroy Gold, who was a Transit Village coordinator, who I worked with intimately to get that Transit Village program up to par. William Piedra, who was the Park and Ride coordinator, and he was the vice president of Local 1032. And also Bob Harris, who worked at Capital Programs. He was, I guess, responsible for project prioritization and project funding. I think they will be instrumental in giving you insight on the inner workings of DOT. You don't have to take it from maybe a person that they would say was a disgruntled employee. I spoke last year. I said I was going to come back again with documentation. I found some new documentation that maybe had me pause it, and it was some testimony from the Judiciary Committee on New Jersey Transit. I don't know if the employee of the public is fully aware of the full spectrum of what was going on at New Jersey Transit, but this testimony from the Judiciary Committee with the state kind of outlines everything and the similar practices that is held at NJDOT, because NJDOT is really the parent company of New Jersey Transit. A lot of employees went over to New Jersey Transit from NJDOT in its inception. So that's just what I would do. I want to submit this testimony. It kind of outlines, and the public, you can outline to the public and get the idea of what goes on in New Jersey Transit, the anti-black behavior that goes on there that generally affects project funding, prioritization, New Jersey Transit. You get a good idea, so I will want to submit that. I'm going to come back because there's a lot of other issues that are more important, maybe, not I'll say more important, but more pressing right now with the strike and those things. But I will come back with further documentation other than this, but that will outline how the outline my testimony. And I guess maybe important, I know Rick Hammer, I mean, you have Jean Victor is currently there. She was there when I was there and at the inception of my problem. And I will talk about it later on other meetings when these problems die down. Thank you. Can I submit this to somebody?
At the reception. The next speaker is Sally Gellert.
Good evening. It's been interesting getting here. There was an unfortunate fatality on the Pascack Valley line, and then I missed the 76 bus, and while I was trying to call about that, it hit 5 o'clock and the phones immediately shut down. So I just waited, and here I finally am. I am here this evening in my personal capacity. I know you heard from Vito Havrilla and Dave Allen earlier, and I support their comments. I'd like to address the loss of Kingsland Station. To elaborate on what was in the Lackawanna Coalition statement, I'd like to point out that both Lyndhurst and Kingsland stations are listed on the NJDEP Environmental Justice Map as being in communities designated overburden. Taking a train station away from such an area not only looks bad politically, but harms a vulnerable population, either making them more dependent on cars and their pollution, or adding time to their travels with an additional 0.3 of a mile walk from Kingsland to the new Lyndhurst station. I'm sure that many who initially supported combining the stations thought that bus connections would be similar and or that the new station would be equidistant between the two existing stations, not being located at almost the exact location of one of them. I point out that there is a section of Lyndhurst that is not overly burdened, and there is a section that is, the stations happen to be within the overburdened sections. New Jersey Transit said, there's also loses a connection between the 76 bus, which I took tonight, which runs from Hackensack to Newark, connecting with most, if not all, Hoboken lines. On occasion, when the Pascack Valley line schedule does not connect well for my planned arrival in Newark, your trip planner has suggested that I transfer at Kingsland, which is very convenient, with a stop almost directly across the street. That actually works quite well. Last time I had enough time to cross the street, get down the stairs, chat briefly with a fellow passenger, not enough time to become impatient. It was like a perfect connection. They're rare on New Jersey Transit. I appreciated it. New Jersey Transit said when pushing for this cancellation that it would save Lyndhurst Station passengers 2 minutes on each train. We'll be watching to see if you keep that promise. But I think you would do more for out-of-town riders and those who walk to Kingsland to reroute the 76 bus down New York or Amvets Avenue, along Delafield Avenue, and continuing back up Valley Brook Road to Ridge Road. That's a 3-minute adjustment, which would be really a loss of only 1 minute because you're saving 2 minutes. So that would really rail riders would only lose 1 minute of time, and those who currently use Kingsland Station would otherwise add a 4-block walk to their trip in any weather. As a member organization of RUN, the Rail Users Network, the Lackawanna Coalition is looking forward to their virtual conference this Friday, May 16th at 12:30 p.m. if you all are not totally distracted by a strike. Their programs are always informative. At last year's May board meeting, I mentioned my radio show Ecologic, Pete Seeger, and Press Freedom. Press Freedom Day rolled around again on May 3rd, and We're now number 57, down from 55th in the world. We've gutted Oprah, and your budget proposal has so little information, I don't know how we're going to get the real details given the current situation, but thank you very much.
Thank you. We have one more telephone speaker.
Thank you. The next public comment will be from Joseph Clift. Joseph, your line is live and your time will now begin.
Good evening. I'd like to talk about the almost $2 billion proposed to be spent on rolling stock this evening. Mr. Kaluri, I thought more of you than this. Board members, you should be insulted by the fact that there's zero information on how this money is going to be spent. The taxpaying public should also be upset. New Jersey Transit staff apparently feel that the board does not deserve any information. Taxpayers don't deserve any information. Any professional planner would provide a lot of information, specifically, when are these cars and locomotives going to be provided? When will they show up? Where is the money coming from? What's the mix of cars? You've got 50 cars out of the 250. You don't even talk about what type they are, but yet you have a price tag. You don't talk about the fleet, how the fleet will change over time. There is no demonstration that you need this rolling stock. This $1.8 billion is almost 3 years of total New Jersey Transit capital spending. And I would suggest to the board, every member, that anybody that votes for this tonight is effectively saying, I'm a rubber stamp, I don't need any information because I have to approve this anyway. That's my statement. I want to make a comment on the upcoming strike. The Railway Labor Board found in favor of management, which is, I think, significant. But the real culprit here is Governor Murphy and the naivete of allowing Kevin Corbett, the past president of New Jersey Transit, to reach agreement with 13 of the 14 rail unions. Somehow, and they knew at the time, the engineers were not part of that agreement. They never should have agreed with the 13 without the engineers. Everybody knows you cannot run a train without an engineer. So I would put this strike at the feet of Governor Phil Murphy. Thank you very much for this opportunity to comment.
Thank you. And there were no other comments from the lines at this time.
Thank you, public speakers. Are there any board member comments? Okay.
Chris will present the President's and CEO monthly report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. And I also want to thank all the public members for their testimony and their remarks this evening. Let me just, before I give you my update, let me sort of take a couple of issues and make sure that I answer them. I take a lot of pride in when people speak at these board meetings that we try to answer their questions at the next board meeting. I know Scattertech has come up many times. I actually answered the question at the last board meeting. And what I said is Chairwoman Gloria Mills of Scattertech has been tasked as the chair to work with us along with her members. And we are going to work to understand what issues are important to both Scattertech as well as New Jersey Transit, and make sure we come up with a thoughtful and methodical analysis and resolution of issues. That is what we're going to do, and we're going to do it very thoughtfully and methodically, as I said. Let me talk about Mike Kilcoyne. I've now had the pleasure of working with Mike for a little over 3 months. A better professional I have not met. It is very hard and very easy sometimes to criticize people who spend day in, day out trying to make sure people's lives are improved and they get from point A to point B. I think it is a little unfair when somebody who spends every waking hour, there's not been a moment, whether it's at 3 o'clock in the morning, surprisingly he's up, as I am, that we don't talk by text message on what is happening on the roads or what's happening on a particular issue. It is important to know that all 12,000 employees, including the locomotive engineers, work very hard to make sure we run a system that is efficient and effective. And I want you to know that because I've now had the opportunity to see this twice. I appreciate what the locomotive engineer, General Chairman Tom Haas said today about how trains don't run without engineers. But trains also don't run without mechanics, without signal operators, without conductors. Everybody is important. And I want you to know that because I really take to heart how much time and effort everybody who works for New Jersey Transit spends every single day making sure they do their job and do their job for the public. So that is something that I wanted to say it because I've heard this about Mike a couple of times, and I think it is a bit unfair. Let me talk about a couple of things that are positive. Last week, we settled, we reached a tentative agreement with the largest union at New Jersey Transit, the ATU, which has 5,500 members. We reached what I think is a fair and affordable resolution. And I think that is a testament not only to my commitment and our collective commitment to the collective bargaining process, but also to make sure we reach a settlement that the members can be proud of. That brings me to the issue that is on everybody's mind, which is our ongoing negotiations with the BLET. I want to be the first to say that this past Monday, Tom Haas, the general chairman, myself, and his team and my team were all invited to go to Washington to meet with a national mediation board. We went there at their invitation. It was a very constructive meeting. And at that meeting, we agreed that we would continue to negotiate in good faith. And we've done just that. In fact, we just came from a 6.5-hour nonstop negotiation, and we have one tomorrow as well. And I want to say this because we still have 29 hours left before a strike could start. I am supremely optimistic as a person. We reached a deal once before, and I think we can do it again, as long as we remember this principle. It has to be fair for the employees, but also has to be fair for the taxpayers and the riders. That is the compact. If we can sort of live in that world, I think we can get there. And I really want to say this publicly. And I appreciate Mr. Haas and his team working with us through very, very challenging issues. But all I will say is that the conversations have been constructive. And I really appreciate this ongoing effort. Should there be a strike, I feel compelled to say that while we're hoping for the best, we're also planning for the worst. We have a contingency plan that we've laid out that basically runs our bus system as is. I heard somebody talked about the disabled community. Our Access Link will run as is. We will have a supplemental service. And on top of that, we'll have 4 park and rides that cover a broad swath of the state. We are doing that fully understanding that it isn't what they have today, they meaning the riders. This is a strike that none of us want. And I actually think that our expectation and our hope is that we'll work for the next 29 plus hours to try and resolve this to everyone's satisfaction. While all that's going on, I think it is important for the board members and the public to know that there is the running of the organization writ large that we have to focus on as well. When I came here, I said a few things. I want to focus on customer service and reliability. I want to focus 2 on rolling stock and 3 on fiscal responsibility. Today, you have 2 agenda items that address 2 of the 3 issues. On rolling stock, I specifically said, by the time I leave this job and Governor Murphy leaves his office, we would have done two things. We would have taken concrete steps to replace all 1,000 buses that we need to replace. So, and the second thing is that we would work to replace 200 we would work to replace the rolling stock, whether it's Arrows or Comets, with 250 multi-level cars. That's what this resolution today says. Now, why is that important? We already are about to get 174 rail cars, multi-levels, starting next January or February. That is just the first step. And Tommy Haas and his colleagues from the Teamsters know very well that there are 600 some odd Arrows and Comets that are still in the system that are from the 1970s and early 80s. In order for us to modernize our system by 2031, we have to start that process today. That doesn't mean you expend every penny of the capital we have in the budget this year for these assets. This is over the next 4 years. But if you don't place the order, or if you don't exercise the option for the 200 rail cars starting this year, you not only miss the slot, you will not get them in time by 2031. So it's a pretty simple calculation. We either believe in a modernized system, so we don't have reliability, or we are going to come up with a Band-Aid approach and try to keep spending money and hope and pray that we will continue to keep a rolling stock as it's in shape. You can't have both. We either believe in a modernization system or we don't. And I actually am glad to report that we have identified federal funds to do just that. And that's a good thing for the state of New Jersey, and that's a really good thing for our riders. And let me go one more step. The thing that I've heard a lot about since I've come here is mean distance between failures. People are like, oh my God, it's plummeting at New Jersey Transit, while other agencies like Metro North are doing great. Well, what do you think is the best way to increase the mean distance between failure? By having new rolling stock, or by having a really good systemic repair program. In my case, what I am suggesting is we need both. So what you have seen today, that the board is going to act, despite some skepticism and despite some concern that somehow this money is not there or this is not a good idea, I am saying to you, if the riders want a modern system, this is how you start it. Equally important, we need to make sure we have good locomotives. So we're ordering 12 dual-powered locomotives. That is also part of our modernization strategy. The last thing is just customer service that has been asked about is Wi-Fi on buses. This is something that our riders have been asking for, and you are now going to consider a resolution that implements Wi-Fi on buses. Lastly, this budget that I've now gone and testified in front of the Assembly and Senate Committee, while we're deeply appreciative that the legislature and the governor have given us $850 million, $15 million in corporate transit fees starting this July, should the budget pass, we have an affirmative obligation to continue looking for revenue enhancements and cost cuttings. So what we have done is said we have identified a list of assets that is on the state legislature's website. And Brian, what is the name of the committee on the state? Is it the Joint Budget Oversight Committee? So it's not some secret list. It's on the JBOC website. The properties that we will then sell to New Jersey Economic Development Authority, and for which we will get receipts that we will use to spend for the operating budget we have this fiscal year. This is how fiscally thoughtful budgets and operations are supposed to work. So I am very, very pleased with the agenda today. Not because it's just focused on a crisis, which is important, and we're working very hard to solve it, but we also need to be looking forward and how to make sure we put this organization on strong financial footing, and also to make sure we modernize our fleet so it can serve our customers better and more efficiently. With that, Mr. Chairman, I conclude my remarks.
Board Member Cruz will present the Operations and Customer Service Committee report.
Thank you, Chair. The Operations and Customer Service Committee received an update on trends, analysis, and actions for rail, bus, light rail, and access link. We also received an update from the customer advocate, as well as an update on the cost of service. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chair Carlson will present the Administrating Committee report.
The Administration Committee received a financial update. This included a summary of operating results compared to previous year's comparable period and fiscal year 25 budget, 12-month farebox revenue compared to pre-COVID, major balance sheet items, and federal COVID-19 relief grant drawdown summary. Additional information was provided as part of the agenda materials, including the cost of service, key performance indicators, 12-month farebox recovery, history of vacancies, attrition and hires, ridership and revenue, and a monthly budget to actual comparison for March 2025. This concludes my report.
Thank you. Board Member Wise will present the Capital Planning, Policy, and Privatization Committee report.
Thank you. The Capital Planning, Policy, and Privatization Committee reviewed the board items for rail rolling stock program, purchase of 250 option multi-level 3 vehicles and contract amendment for engineering services, rail rolling stock program, purchase of 12 option dual-powered locomotives and contract amendment for engineering assistance, connected bus, award of contract to Clever Device Limited for the purchase of the in-vehicle networking IVN technology with Wi-Fi, and authorization for New Jersey Transit Corporation to enter into agreement for sale of certain real estate properties to the New Jersey Economic Development Authority. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Chris will present the action items.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to call up Bill Brooks to present item number 2505-17.
Thank you, Chris. Good evening. We're presenting for approval item 2505-17, Rail Rolling Stock Program, purchase of 250 multi-level 3 vehicles and contract amendment for engineering services. Authorization is requested to exercise an option under the existing contract with Alstom Transportation Incorporated of New York, New York, for the purchase of 250 option multi-level 3 vehicles and capital spare parts at a cost not to exceed $1.496 billion plus 5% contingency for a total contract authorization of $2,529,643,479.30, subject to the availability of funds. Authorization is also requested to amend the professional services contract with Hatch of Ambler, Pennsylvania, for the engineering assistance of the manufacturer of 250 option multi-level 3 vehicles at a cost not to exceed $15.5 million, plus 5% contingency for a total authorization of $61,471,155.90, subject to the availability of funds. We ask for your approval of item 2505-17.
May I have a motion to approve board item 2505-17?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second, Carson.
Any discussion? Megan, please take a roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Board Member Abrantes?
Yes.
Board Member Nara?
Yes.
Board Member Weiss?
Yes.
Board Member Caniff?
Yes.
Board Member Cruz?
Yes.
Vice Chair Carson?
Yes.
Chair O'Connor?
Yes.
Motion carried.
I'd like to introduce Karen Patel, the Interim Chief of Special Projects, to present item number 2505-18.
Thank you, Chris. Good evening, board members. We are presenting for approval item number 2505-18, Rail Rolling Stock Program, purchase of 12 option dual power locomotive and contract amendment for engineering services. Authorization is requested to exercise an option under the existing New Jersey Transit contract number 07062 with Alstom Transportation, Inc. of New York, New York, for the purchase of 12 optional dual-power locomotives, including spare parts at a cost not to exceed $203,926,264.96 plus 10% contingency, including fluctuation in the U.S. dollar and euro exchange rate that are out of New Jersey Transit's control, for a total contract authorization of $894,675,429.56, subject to the availability of funds. Authorization is also requested to amend the Professional Services New Jersey Transit contract number 05098 with STV Incorporated of New York, New York, for engineering assistance with the manufacture of the 12 option dual-power locomotives at a cost not to exceed $5,011,403.87 plus 5% contingency, for a total authorization of $22,401,000, subject to the availability of funds. We ask for your approval for item number 2505-18.
May I have a motion to approve board item 2505-18?
Motion, Nara.
May I have a second?
Second, Carson.
Any discussion? Megan, please take a roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Board Member Brantis?
Yes.
Board Member Nara?
Yes.
Board Member Weiss?
Yes.
Board Member Caniff?
Yes.
Board Member Cruz?
Yes.
Vice Chair Carson?
Yes.
Chair O'Connor?
Yes.
Motion carried. For the record, Vice Chair Carson is recused from item 2505-19 and will not comment or vote on the item.
I'd like Karen Patel to also present item 2505-19.
Thank you, Chris. We are presenting for approval item number 2505-19, 2023 Capital Program Task Order Consultant Contracts Program, Architectural and Design Engineering Services, Construction Management and Inspection Services. Authorization is requested to enter into New Jersey Transit contracts and task orders thereunder with the firms shown in Exhibit A for architectural and design engineering services and construction management and inspection services on a task order basis in 2 disciplines. Authorization is also requested that the total value of the 2023 task order consultant contract program, which includes these contracts, will be $85 million. We ask for your approval for item 2505-19.
May I have a motion to approve board item 2505-19?
Motion, Weiss.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Megan, please take a roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Board Member Brantis?
Yes.
Board Member Nara?
Yes.
Board Member Weiss?
Yes.
Board Member Caniff?
Yes.
Board Member Cruz?
Yes.
Chair O'Connor?
Yes.
Motion carried.
I'd like to introduce Jignasa Desai McCleary, Senior VP and Chief Administration Risk Officer, to present item 2505-20.
We are presenting for approval item 250520, Connected Bus, award of contract to Clever Devices Limited for the purchase of the in-vehicle networking technologies. Authorization is requested to award a contract to Clever Devices Limited of Woodbury, New York, for the purchase of in-vehicle network technology with Wi-Fi in the amount not to exceed $12 million plus 5% for contingencies, subject to the availability of funds. We ask for your approval of item 2505-20.
May I have a motion to approve board item 2505-20?
Motion, Cruz.
Motion, Nara.
May I have a second?
Second, Cruz.
Any discussion? Megan, please take a roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Board Member Brantis?
Yes.
Board Member Nara?
Yes.
Board Member Weiss?
Yes.
Board Member Caniff?
Yes.
Board Member Cruz?
Yes.
Vice Chair Carson?
Yes.
Chair O'Connor?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
I'd like to introduce Mike Murphy, Chief of Real Estate and Economic Development, to present item 2505-21.
Thanks, Chris. Good evening. We're presenting for approval item 2505-21, authorization for New Jersey Transit Corporation to enter into agreement for sale of certain real estate properties to the New Jersey Economic Development Authority. Authorization is requested to enter into a property conveyance agreement and all other necessary legal documents with the NJEDA for the sale of the properties. We ask for your approval of item 2505-21.
May I have a motion to approve Board Item 2505-21?
So moved, Carson.
May I have a second?
Second, Nara.
Any discussion? Megan, please take a roll call vote.
Roll call vote, Board Member Brontes?
Yes.
Board Member Nara?
Yes.
Board Member Weiss?
Yes.
Board Member Caniff?
Yes.
Board Member Cruz?
Yes.
Vice Chair Carson?
Yes.
Chair O'Connor?
Yes.
Motion carried. For the record, Vice Chair Carson is recused from item 2505-22 and will not comment or vote on the item.
I am recommending approval of item 2505-22, annual notice of meetings and designations. The action items is to adopt the annual notice of meetings for all of the Board of Directors meetings during fiscal year 2026, designate Kiabe D. Carson as Vice Chairperson of the New Jersey Transit Board of Directors and its subsidiaries, and designate Megan Clark Umakoro as Board Secretary, New Jersey Transit and its subsidies. May I have a motion to approve Board Item 2505-22?
Moved, Weiss.
May I have a second?
Second, Cruz.
Any discussion?
Second.
Megan, please take a roll call vote.
Roll call vote, Board Member Brontes?
Yes.
Board Member Nara?
Yes.
Board Member Weiss?
Yes.
Board Member Caniff?
Yes.
Board Member Cruz?
Yes.
Chair O'Connor?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Before we adjourn to executive session, I want to let the public know we will return to adjourn the meeting, but no further business will be conducted. May I have a motion to enter into executive session to discuss personnel matters, contract negotiations, the status of pending and anticipated litigation, and matters falling within the attorney-client privilege, including but not limited to the corporate insurance program annual renewal and the authorization to deposit additional funds into court in connection with condemnation proceedings related to the acquisition of property in the village of Ridgefield Park, New Jersey, formerly owned by defendant TP Access LLC. May I have a motion to enter into executive session?
Motion, Cruz.
May I have a second?
Second, Carson.
Second, Nara.
Any discussion?
Second, Brontes.
Megan, please take a roll call vote.
Roll call vote, Board Member Brontes?
Yes.
Board Member Nara?
Yes.
Board Member Weiss?
Yes.
Board Member Caniff?
Yes.
Board Member Cruz?
Yes.
Vice Chair Carson?
Yes.
Chair O'Connor?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Yeah, this is the call.